Koyongian get going, it could be something devastating.
Yes, it's quite a tongue-tying surname, isn't it? I think we might be calling him Edward quite a few times during this match. Can Edward get ahead?
I think this table here has been a little hit and miss for all players when it comes to depositing that one on the side. A really great connection with the rack. It really didn't see much wrong as far as the hit on the one. Cue ball kind of tracked, got kissed to the bottom end. But if you ever want to watch what might be the most entertaining player on the planet, especially one of the most entertaining top players on the planet, this is the guy, Johann Chua.
Yeah, never compromises with shot selections, always bold. He beat Mustafa Adzibajrik 9-1 in his first match here. Came through against Riku Rompainen in winners qualification yesterday. In between, could easily have lost to Boris Ivanovsky. The German actually played a very poor positional shot onto the 7 when he was on the verge of victory. Chua claimed that rack and then won the decider.
Yeah, good speed on the snooker there, and what I liked on the one ball is it was a difficult shot to ever gain position and very missable shot if you tried to do too much. So just to get the match started, he kind of iced the one. Always had the plan to play safe on the blue 2. One thing I've always said about Chua is, you know, there for a while he just didn't play that many international tournaments. So when he did come out, it seemed like he played a little nervous at first, you know, and now he's starting to settle in. He's played so many more in the last year and a half, 2 years, and it was easy to see once he got over a few little mental things what kind of class he is.
Cardinal sin not making contact and putting ball in hand. That's a real boost for Chua, especially given the awkwardness of 3 and 5. He could put that to rights.
Yeah, and maybe the youngster let one slip there. Maybe tried to get a little cute with the kick shot. Tried to do too much with the 3-5 tied up, like you said, Phil. You just want to make that contact. Odds are you're not really going to leave anything that will let him develop the 3-5. But now with ball in hand, of course, wants to hit right before the side. That was a bad misjudgment. Should be a safety behind the purple. Wants to get the 3 past the side a little bit. That way he doesn't leave an easy kick and return.
"14 matches simultaneously going on in this last 64, and a couple of racks already on the board. Petri Mäkinen 1-0 up on Alexa Pachelj. That's a rematch. They played each other in winners qualification yesterday. Pachelj getting the verdict. Loho Sum 1-0 up on Victor Zielinski.
Nice hit there, much better effort. A little unfortunate to leave something this easy, but still better than ball in hand. And this is the day where we start to see, you know, were there players that had any challenge in the qualifying rounds? You know, once the heat gets on, once they start to get in a close match that they haven't been in the entire tournament, does that make a difference? Chua's had a bit of both, of course, winning a hill match, but also winning a couple matches in cruise mode, so he's had a bit of both. Of course, like we always like seeing the future of pool, the junior event starts today as well. I think 64, right? Is that right? Filtered in yesterday, and all I saw was smiles all over. They just love being around the great players.
Yes, and lots of youngsters competing from right here in Bosnia. So in terms of the development of pool in this nation, that event is priceless.
So many intriguing stories, really, just in this opening round of the final 64. Right below us, Koyongian playing Lucas Barner, and I think Lucas is a guy that's going to do really well playing a full schedule of events this year on the World 9-Ball Tour. And it's going to be tough sledding, of course, to advance deep, but I think as far as maturing his game and getting where he wants to be, I think he's doing the right thing.
Looks like being a very good start from Johann Chua. We can't take anything for granted, though. Earlier on this week, Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz missed a 9-ball of equal simplicity to the one we've just seen. But Chua knocks it in, and he draws for and lost 3.
Yeah, he's got the heart of the country behind him, and that doesn't hurt. And he's kind of embracing it. I think that's the best thing that I've seen from him, with a few little social posts and just being around him. He's been all smiles, and now 2 dry breaks, 1 for each player. But that's what I mean, and that's what I was saying earlier. You know, you wonder if someone gets in that tight contest that hasn't had one yet, is that going to make a difference? Because, you know, you can look back and say, yeah, they played plenty of close matches, but pool, kind of like that golf we love so much, every day seems to be a new one, and it's kind of starting over. Difficult little shot here. Does he use the pink to hold the cue ball? He decided to really slow roll it. So it did use the pink a bit, but great speed.
Not a new experience for Koyongian to be in single elimination at a major World 9-Ball Tour ranking event. He got to the last 16 of the Hanoi Open last year. Ran Jason Shaw close.
Yeah, I talked with Jason last night. I think he's in a great place. Ready to just play a lot of pool, and seems to be doing whatever he can to play his best. Now, kind of funny here. I don't know if he has enough of the ball to play a real accurate safety. Does he try to pocket the 6, just cut the 3 in? Hard to get on the pink. Yeah, smart shot. He's going to lose the 3 a little bit, but probably does take on this bank.
Misjudgment. And Chua will be liking the way the match has gone so far. Koyongian looks a little nervous. Chua already settled, as you might imagine, with his now vast experience. Taking his extension here, it's 1 30-second extension per player per rack. A 30-second shot clock on the main table only, on table 1.
Yeah, a rare missed thin one. He's one of the best on the planet when it comes to edging the ball. Tough shot, though, with the side spin he had to apply to try and gain position. Maybe a little fortunate. Missed it by a little more than any of us expected. Didn't leave much of a shot on the 3 offensively. But there's certain matches I'm looking at out there, like Pongers against Fayan. Fayan hasn't had much of a test yet, and he's playing as a pretty good favorite in that match against the young Pongers, and now down 2-0. How does he respond? Okay, don't get too cute with this kick shot. The 3 might go into the 7. Maybe you don't get a rail. Okay, he decided to play with a lot of speed. And of course, all the Filipino players are some of the best in the world at going rail first, and they recognize all those little things.
Yeah, just 2 Filipinos here, so a small contingent, but they're both still batting.
Looks like pretty good speed. He's got 2 different ways to kick at this ball. And there's an argument for both ways, off the right side rail or the left. Now you would think he would want to catch this heavy, trying to hold the cue ball on the bottom as the 3 goes up. Take that.
Yeah, an acknowledgement of good fortune from Johann Chua. When these top players have the run, they're almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and what they do is they just know how to take advantage. Once they do get a roll or 2, but oh my, talk about 2 back-to-back rolls, kind of very one-sided. It'll be interesting to see what Chua wants to do with this 5-ball situation, because it is kind of funny. That overhead might have told us it does go in the lower right corner. No, it doesn't. So maybe a 5-9 combination. I kind of feel like he's going to open them here. Wants to push the 5 towards the lower right. This is going to be, he's got a little bit the right side of the cue ball, so that's going to help. Now, this is the type of shot when you have to put speed and you're cueing near a ball. This is where you could actually feather the 9. This is all ball fouls, so the ref should be on top of this one. Wow, this is going to be a pretty one. Going forward, a lot of speed.
But it just trapped into the cue ball, just trapped a little. So with ball in hand, this is a disappointing outcome.
A little shocked that he didn't try to edge that ball and run the cue ball. Very good at the paper thin shots on the side of the object balls, that being Johann Chua. Left this a little funny. I think he can't avoid the scratch to either pocket. Oh, he didn't even go for it, so maybe the scratch was in play. But most players would try to manufacture, you know, whether it be drawing the cue ball, kind of forcing the cue ball to the side rail, and most of them would like to attack in that position. What I'm curious, Phil, and you probably have an opinion on this, especially asking you, is so many great players that, whether it be they haven't been on the main table yet, or maybe they've been a little quiet the last however long, 10 months or so, 6 months, which one of these players, like a Max Lechner or Mario He, one of those guys that are going to remind us this week of who they are?
And also falling into that bracket, Albin Ocean.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few. I mean, Albin, with his resume, it's hard to forget totally, but some of these other guys are still trying to get that first real major. I think there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, I was just talking on the basis of how quiet he's been, Ocean. But you know eventually the quality will resurface. Maybe it will be this week. Should be the equaliser for Koyongian.
Yeah, Ponger's up 3-0 now on Niels, and at the table. tell you a scary one. If I'm in the field, if I'm thinking about a player, one that had a real scare, and I think it was round 2. Wow, and that is definitely a sign of nerves. You could tell he was like almost over-aiming a little bit, down on the ball a little longer, maybe questioning what he was seeing. But I think Koyongian, after a narrow win, I think it was in round 2, came back and played beautifully. Maybe it was round 1, actually, came back and played beautifully after that. What's he doing here? Is he cutting this? Wow, I thought that was maybe a little bit of a stretch with the bridge. No pun intended.
I thought it was a lot of a stretch. That.
Yeah, and he wasn't that far off, of course, but that's 2 shots in this rack. I felt like he could have edged the ball, maybe.
That works.
Yeah, that works very well. Just very natural back and forth. The 3 very open. Should grab a lead here. I know he's still got to knock in 8 shots, but things change so easily in 9-ball pool. But these are sitting nice, especially. Oh, this is a little light. Did get there, I think, but I think it was a bit of sweat for the young man as the cue ball was coming across.
Yeah, 25 years of age, from the Indonesian capital of Jakarta. He will play in the Premier League pool, which is taking place here in Sarajevo next week. And when you look at big performances from him, how about at the Perry Open in Vietnam last year, when one of his victims was Koyongian?
Yeah, I think probably the Perry Open maybe and the International. Probably the 2 toughest ranking events, beyond the majors.
Yeah, he's going to play a lot of pool this year. He's committed to that. I was reading this morning, he's definitely going to play Scottish Open, UK Open. Well, Edward Koyongian now leads Johann Chua by 2 racks to 1. Still very early in the piece, of course, in a race to 10. But one of last year's major World 9-Ball Tour ranking event winners finds himself facing.
Yeah, and that Reyes Cup, it just seemed like Europe never really got it going, and Team Asia just got better and better every day, and that's just how it happens sometimes. Table breaking tough today. These guys are hitting the rack pretty well.
Isn't it amazing how the table breaks differently from day to day? The biggest instance, personally, I've ever encountered with that was a World Cup many years ago in Rotterdam it was, and the table broke absolutely brilliantly, very easy for all of the matches up until the final. And then just before the final, for some TV effects, they took a dry ice machine into the arena. Anyway, the final began. It was one dry break after the next.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's enough science sometimes put in to make you understand or make us all understand what makes those change so easily. Of course, we know humidity has a big play in pool, but I think there's other factors at times. All right, Chua missed the mark on the safety. Not an easy rack here, though. So this is the type of rack, if he can get out, not only to extend that lead, but build even more confidence moving forward in this match. He's going to have to take on a bit of a shot on the pink here in a couple. Get pretty nice on the purple 5. The 6 is a little funny. Just want to feel like you're piecing things together. Now, if he could draw into the 9 here, that may help things. Could end up with a little awkward queuing, though, over the 6, trying to get from the 4 to the 5. So, decisions.
Just can't keep missing balls of that ilk, not against someone of Chua's class. If you're just joining us, even though Koyongian is 2-1 up, he did miss a straightforward 9 ball in the second rack. He went on to win that rack, but 2 easy balls gone astray already.
See kind of lots of one-sided affairs so far in this round.
Yeah, at the end of this rack, we will give you all of the latest scores, and as Jeremy alluded to, some really interesting score lines straight out of the gate. Well, that was tentative, wasn't it?
Yeah, just knowing Johann, I can tell a couple shots he hasn't been too happy with himself. Now he's going to try and lay the 6 behind the 8, cue ball behind the brown. Looks like the speed matches up pretty well. I wouldn't try to get the 6 all the way to the bottom cushion, though, I don't think. I think that'll let the cue ball kind of turn loose a hair. Just trying to put the 6 behind. I thought he would play 2 cushions behind rather than just try to float 1 rail. I thought that was a little more demanding. And definitely tentative there. Sorry, Phil.
No, I was just going to say, Jeremy, oftentimes when it comes to shape, positional shots, and they don't quite work out, it's because there's a small margin of error. To drop on that 6 ball there, there's an immense margin of error. Really surprising, and then the safety after it only compounded the problem.
Yeah, I think he's got to level out here. He tries to pull the ball with like a low right spin. I don't think position is so easy, and maybe a scratch in the upper right. So try to come some 3 cushions here. Oh my, pretty easy shot there.
The cue action was not fluid.
No, and you know, the thing that is maybe a little more concerning, of course, you don't want to miss balls, but you would rarely play shape the way he did underneath coming across for the 8 in the side. So I think it was a much more of a miss hit than was, you know, so apparent, really.
Well, we did not anticipate this level of scratchiness so far.
Yeah, Yeah, and I don't think either player has really gotten comfortable between the ears yet. Like even there, I think Chua, reflecting even on that kick shot, knows that maybe a little heavy-handed. Of course, you're always going to hit it with a little speed, but he's going to lose accuracy if you do a little too much. And even that 7 ball right there, when he struck it with ball in hand, you could see there was a little concern from the youngster.
We have seen lots of mistakes, but there's no way he's going to miss this. So it is 3-1 in rather unusual circumstances for Edward Koyongian over Johann Chua. Tobias Bonga's 2-1 up on Carlo Pion up on Mark Bosch. And Naoki Oi 4-0 over Jonas Suto Camino. By the way, Lepotko or Bosch will play the winner of this one.
Yeah, and I think Loho Sum extended that lead now 5-1. Talked about him on day one. I think he's improved that technique a bit. And he's just a patient guy waiting to get those results. Well, what I love too, it seems like every player has amped up the speed on the break, and love to see that energy.
And now the fortune is perhaps turning the other way. If you'd said to Koyongian before the start you're going to be 3-1 up, having missed 3 balls and made a couple of other mistakes, he probably would not have believed you.
Yeah, take advantage while you get it, because he has missed in a good manner so far. Yeah, and the timing just a little off for Chua at the moment. Of course, these players get a timeout. You don't want to burn it early, but I'll tell you, if he happens to lose this game, Chua, it may be a good time to step away from the table and regroup. Can't get a lot here, I don't think. Just kind of float it down. Yeah, oh, you got a lot more, so there must have been a bit more angle than the TV showed us.
Just wondering with Chua, you know, pool players are naturally nocturnal animals. Also, there's the factor of jet lag. 10 o'clock in the morning, is that suiting him? I don't know. We're trying to work out why he's played so poorly so far. Because let's face it, let's not sugarcoat this for Johann Chua. The first 5 racks have been very barren, very uncharacteristic.
Well, the one thing I noticed from years ago with the players is they don't come in as early, you know, when they're going so far from home as we used to back in the day. I mean, I came to a tournament in Europe. I wanted to make sure I was in as good a shape as possible, and I would come 3-4 days early. Asia, I would go 5-6 days early. All right, little light there. Became a hair awkward. Can play it in the corner. I think he missed his mark by quite a piece, really. I think he was coming up for the side pocket. I was gonna say, it was the type of shot, if your nerves are going, even though just a little bit of a cut, it was a ball that could be missed.
So that's 4 pots missed now.
Yeah, and it's obviously between the ears for the youngster at the moment.
What's happening? What is happening? What a strange opening to the match.
Yeah, and you may have hit the nail on the head, because a couple of these strokes have been kind of like fatigue almost. Like that one there is just a little off. Niels Fan did get on the board at 4-1, but Ponger's back with another game on his side now, ahead 5-1. It is an extended race for this final 64. They are going to 10.
Well, 3-1 is about to become 4-1 in favour of the Indonesian. Sentences you never thought you would say. Edward Koyongian, hot code 2-2. Naoki Oi. What a performance from him so far. 5-0 up on Jonas Suter Camino. And 4-0 for Radislav Babica over Shane Walford.
But he's trying to bury a big shot to get the arm going. Okay, decided to play the safety. Very smart.
Well, he will be annoyed, he'll be frustrated, maybe he will be bewildered, Johann Chua, but he won't be intimidated, because Koyongian has done nothing to intimidate anyone.
Yeah, and maybe needs to, you know, look at that 50-50 ball maybe for a minute and say, you know, we don't always realize how good tactically Chua is, because he's so great offensively and he's not afraid of the tough ball, but maybe start to get it and grind on a few easier shots, playing a few tidy safeties. All right, trying to stun forward a little bit, it looks like. Maybe hold right there. A little more fluid with the stroke. Yeah, difficult out, though. He's going to have to earn it after a few mistakes. This one here is just kind of like a light draw. Just kind of coast it past the side, one cushion. Maybe a soft second cushion. But he's just got such soft hands. Love watching the guy play.
And of course he was my pick when you asked me on Tuesday. I'm a little concerned now.
Yeah, he's still not settled in with the stroke. The timing a hair off there. Looks like he can draw this one rail to the center. Oh, he's got as ideal as he could. I don't think he has to use the top cushion. Got heavy enough on the 6 to just float one rail above the brown 7. I think he can avoid the 8, a hair of inside spin.
One of those matches, though, where you can't take anything for granted. just the kind of rack that Chua desperately needed. Yeah, the way he took those should reinstill some confidence. The deficit's cut to 4-2. Now over on table 3, a player Fracasso Werner 2.
Yeah, well, sometimes the break can get you going when you're struggling. See what it gives Johann Chua. He's going to be happy with this. The 2's going to get up. A little awkward queuing near the 3, but you got to believe he's going to attack.
Yeah, he's the master of the thin cut, isn't he? But sometimes when you're low on confidence, shots of this nature, they are ones you need to avoid. You need to rein yourself back in and say, look, I'm not at my best. Maybe I should err on the side of caution.
Yeah, and that looks like what he's doing. I think he's going to cut it, though. I really do. I mean, plays pretty nice to come behind the 4. Actually is a little easier queuing as well, trying to go to the left side of the blue 2.
Well, he almost overcut it.
Yeah, he really didn't expect to go through all that traffic without some bump here or there. And now has found himself on the 3, but no pocket. Really kind of an odd safety. Can he easily roll up on the purple 5? Is that comfortable? Niels Fan with a golden break to get back to 5-3. Surprised he's not looking at the 3-7 combo with this kind of look. Yeah, that was always, ooh, did it sneak kind of back up on the 9? May have.
Again, as the clock was running low, failing to make any kind of contact.
Just like the previous rack. Well, I'm surprised he's not taking on the right middle. I hate being so close to the ball here, trying to go forward. Should be okay, but again, like the last rack, a nice safety to get ball in hand, or what essentially is ball in hand in the last rack on the 1. Now ball in hand in game number 7.
Well, not ideal on the 6, but this kind of shot normally is Chua's stock in trade.
Yeah, not one he wants to put a lot of right spin, so watch out for the cue ball on top of the brown. I got a friendly bump.
For just a split second, he was concerned there the cue ball might be hiding behind the bump of a middle pocket. But he was. 4-1 down. Now it's 4-3. Looking better, Chua. 5-0 over Shane Walford. Victor Zielinski from Poland, perhaps fighting back against Loho some. It's now 6-3.
All right, much more of what we're used to seeing on that break shot. Now twice in a row with the one deposited, dressed up on the two. Little tricky position to the three, but I think just a few more looks like this, you're going to see Chua settle in. Now, can he roll this and go into the 7? Or does he kind of have to go by the 7 and then kind of up table for the 3? The 4-6 combination most likely on the top end. We'll see how he cues the ball. So what he's trying to do here, he's trying to go between the 7-9 and then kind of kill the ball up the side rail, staying below the 7. Yeah, really good. Looks like Shane Wolford has gotten on the board. He's trailing 5-0, I believe.
I must say, for me, at these major WNT ranking events, Day 4 is always the one that really appeals to me. So many matches, so many quality players involved. Today, we'll have the last 64 completed and the last 32. So by completion of play this evening, only a sweet 16 will remain.
Yeah, and other thing also, if you're here all week like we are, you can feel the difference in the pressure and the energy in the room in that final 64 compared to the first few days.
Yes, only 1/4 of the original field remain. And now they're all on money. They've all made the cut. And after a very slow start, Johann Chua starting to show his true colours. It's 4-4. I think it's a race to who will finish quickest. They defeated title holder Mickey Krause.
The break, the one down again. Nice look at the blue 2. Don't think it'll be a safety to get control here. I think it good chance of a clearance. And weird how pool works. You just never know mentally with the player from one to the next. But Chua kind of picking it up here. You know, if Edward gets a chance, you may see him start to improve as well. Sometimes it's the opposite. You know, when you've had quite a few mistakes, but a lot of times they kind of feed off each other, these players.
Yeah, snooker commentators, I'm as guilty as anyone. We have stock phrases, if you like, and one of them is, if you see a match where lots of balls are being missed by both players, we say, well, you know, mistakes from one player, it becomes infectious. But as you say, Jeremy, it works the other way also. But I'm liking what I'm seeing now from Chua. I think that early storm has been weathered.
Yeah, does he come past the 6 here? He did. And he's going to fall a little thin. shouldn't be too much of a worry. Hits the ball so nicely at the light speeds. This shouldn't get away from him. Quickly, Niels Fane back at 5 apiece. Oh, it's surprising. Must have been a little thinner than I thought. Now he needs this to really work. Now, can he shoot this with a high ball? It's a scratch, some kind of worry.
Employing his extension, that 30-second extra.
I think this is odd.
And after missing the green 6, he's been fortunate where he came to rest.
Yeah, the speed here, it's all about, I think he will go for the thin cut, but it's all about how you hit the pocket. The 9's a big ball. I really think it is, coming back and forth with the cue ball. Maybe it's the safety. Guess that was a bit thinner than I thought. He's left an edge here. An easy kick from behind. Excuse me, an easy kick from behind as well.
Yeah, leaving an edge against Johann Chua is not recommended.
Yeah, I'll tell you, where he was looking for position, that means he's going to go around the table. I thought he would cut it in, try to use the 9 as something to hold the cue ball. Yeah, and a little more like, you know, the first few games, really going offensive. You know, may have pulled on the reins there a little bit, Phil, and kicked behind that ball. It was pretty easy kick and stick, and you got an opponent that's, even though at 4-4, definitely struggling.
And just as with the previous miss on the 6, again, the pool gods are on the side of Chua.
Yeah, I think he's got to go for this bank. I really do. I mean, this is the type of bank for these top players. They fancy their chances. And it's hard to hang it. The 8 could help you. You could hold the cue ball on the top end, not only for position, but also for a possible backdoor safety. Maybe cutting this, actually.
That was a much better shot than it looked, and shape is ideal. Looks like Koyongian is going to retake the lead.
And like Chua, it seemed in the last few games, maybe the break shot, if he can get out here, kind of get him going, maybe an easy starter or two.
He has missed the 9 already in this match, in the second rack, but there's a little more testing than this. So, Koyongian 5-4 ahead. He stops the rot there somewhat because he'd lost the previous 3 racks, and let's face it, Chua had the chance to make it 4 on the spin. Emil Capito 3-3. Loho Sun 7-3 over Victor Zielinski, and it's 7-2 Petri Makinen over Alexa Pashalsh.
Okay, dry break. The 1 ball caught the 2 knuckles on the side, and then the 2 knuckles on the upper corner.
Jaws 4.
Yeah. part 1 in the side pocket, part 2 the sequel in the upper left corner. So Chua, again, maybe, if it comes to that 50-50 ball, just maybe pull back on the reins a little bit. We'll see. But this is a playable rack. Probably the hardest positional shot really is from the 2 to the 3. You talked about the Makinen match, and in American sports, I'm sure it's the same in the UK or all the stuff you watch and cover, but they always say it's hard to beat the same team twice in a season, right? When you win the first one and just going back, whether it be a playoff situation or whatever. But I think that could ring true here with these players in 9-ball pool. They're all so great. Now he's got to draw this. So this is or just if you're a hair off the speed control with so many balls to dodge coming down the table, it's going to come behind the purple and the black 8. Try and find a gap on the red 3.
Remember, only in ascending order, Aloysius Schaap, Eklund Kachi, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and Fedor Gorst are above Johann Chua in the rankings. With Gorst not here, this is a real opportunity for all of the others to close that massive gap.
Yeah, that 40K up top, though, that's a good starter. Only a few months into 2025 with so much more ahead.
Yeah, if you've not seen Fedor Gorst's post on social media, basically he's got back issues, so that's why he's not playing this week. We wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, carrying all that money around, that's what it is. Got a little heavy.
Yeah, slipped a disc picking up his wallet.
Way light. Sorry, Phil.
So all square again. 1-1, 4-4, 5-5. Yeah, Fedor Gorst is such a good guy and he's phenomenal for the sport. What he did last year was simply extraordinary to complete that trifecta, the World Masters, the US Open, and of course the World 9-Ball Championship treble. And for the start, that was a tough match to call.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me, and of course we were both so impressed with Lopolko yesterday. I don't know if I've seen any player in the field swing with more confidence. All right, the break's been on point here the last several racks for Chua. This may get nasty though. Occasionally you'll see that where the kisses just kind of bring all the balls to one side of the table, nothing on the right side. Now if he does have a piece of this, he needs to just feather it and try and use the pink 4. He's got to be careful here, though. You could get yourself in a lot of trouble leaving some kind of rail first shot on the 2. He knows it as well. I like edging it and just coming across instead of going to the top cushion, just trying to use the pink 4 as much as I can. not really much of a push-out situation he can take advantage of. Yeah. Doesn't want to open the 5-7 too much. Don't want to accidentally deaden a ball, something like that.
The other thing you don't want to do in this shot clock environment is to take your extension straight after the break, but sometimes needs must.
Yeah, especially, I mean, by design, there's 60 seconds after the break because there's always or not always, but a lot of times critical decisions. I think he did pretty well there. I mean, trying to cut off as much of the cue ball as he can, leaving it near the cushion. He's going to make the youngster play some type of wise shot here. Not really sure what it is either. From this distance, I was about to say, I don't think he can just use spin to come behind the 8. He's elevated. Just trying to bring the cue ball backwards. Watch out for the 9. Watch out for the 9.
Strange things happen in 9-ball pool. How about that? How about that? This is turning into a really intriguing contest.
That one.
But then Cole went on to beat Albin Ashen, of course, quite heavily. I think it was 11-4.
Yeah, I remember that tournament. Wish I could make that one again this year. It was my first time to Scotland, and I'll tell you, I had a great time that week. Beautiful drive from London. Got to stop at the Crucible, first time there. Ooh, I thought the 6 was going to get kissed to make things quite easy here to start rack number 12, but may have gotten a little funny. I think he can get at the 2, maybe. I don't know. It's very close. Yeah, I don't know here. The 4-8's awfully funny to take on a swerve. I mean, if it's, high percentage, that's one thing. Try and get control of the game. Otherwise, I may push out and shoot the 6 into the 2, pocketing the 2 going forward, laying on the side rail, and let Chua make a decision on the 3. It looks like he can definitely get to the side cushion and maybe double kiss the 2 in. I think easy to whiff this ball. Oh, good effort.
I like that word, Jeremy. Whiff. Of course, it's perfect because of wiffle ball, where you really do whiff.
Played a lot of that growing up, I'll tell you. We had a perfect front yard, made a perfect diamond for the baseball. All right, good effort. He was trying to get the 3 to the top cushion and then run down and try and get some kind of blocker. Not a lot of angle here, hard to go forward. May jam this, may draw it. It's going to be something with a big stroke. Watch out. I get like a deja vu feeling of the first few games of this match for some reason. Another Filipino kicked in ball.
On the vast majority of occasions, you'd give him this, but there's just a little element of doubt the way he's played so far. Nicely done. I think he is cueing much better than he was at the start. By his standards, he couldn't get much worse. To 4-1, I thought it was one of the worst displays from Chua I've seen in ages.
Yeah, well, he's so aggressive, and it's one of the reasons we love to see him play. And he's a true champion the way he wins, but you know, sometimes again you've got to maybe feel yourself out, maybe recognize what's going on with our opponent. Maybe, like I said, pull back on the reins a little bit at times. Maybe that 50-50 ball.
Again, they are inseparable. It is 6-6. Players are on the hill, just down below me. Petri Mäkinen, 9 through. Alexa Pashulsh goes out, the Serbian, whose father is the commentator on this tournament in the local area. It would have been a fairy tale story if Dad had been commentating on his son in the final, but that will have to wait until at least next year.
All right, tough decision here. Always tough on the push out.
Koping Chung is through. He's beaten Ermel Diley 10-2. Well, Jeremy, at least he's got pretty much maximum distance between the two balls.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of Chua in the last several racks. Of course, that fluke on the 9 from Edward, but he did miss very well early in the match when he did miss quite a few shots, that being Edward. And again, Chua made a few mistakes behind it. Now, do you attack and do you go at the 9 while attacking here? I think you just kind of bear down on the 2 and come across. Don't try and influence the shot one way or another, trying to go after the, what'd you call it, the bumblebee?
Yeah, got that one off Carl Boys. He's always got a sting in his tail.
Normally this is one of those bread and butters for Chua, really, cutting this up in the corner. Always felt one of the prettiest shots in pool going down the side rail. And he's overcut it. He's overcut it, and I think he did have a little bit of that bumblebee in mind, and maybe it was giving it up here. Hard for me not to go for this bank combination. I mean, I guess the safety behind the pink is pretty good, but you may leave a kick shot on the 9. Oh, is that enough speed? Yes, it is.
And of course, the jeopardy when you're playing someone like Chua, he is such a good kicker. You always wonder, have I done the right thing? Not just kicker, jumper as well.
Yeah, and maybe just not having the experience, understanding that 9 was a pretty big ball for the bank combination. All right, this is going to get a little odd with no pocket. Well, got it the upper left, but not easy.
Almost synchronized victories for the Co-brothers. I told you about Koyongian. Well, Koyongian has just won 10-3 over Lucas Fracasso Werner. So Koyongian now plays Petri Makinen in the round of 32.
All right, going up behind the pink again here. This is definitely light. I thought it was. Pretty good location for the blue too. Koyongian was right below us. Of course, I always wanted to watch Lucas. I got a lot of feel good about his game and what he's going to do in the next few years. But man, Koyongian was absolutely smashing the break. I think he averaged 2 balls plus on the break and played beautifully behind it. And I was about to say, easy not to get a cushion on that type of jump kick, but the purple did get there. All right, you want to spin this, kind of overcut it by the 7, let it drift behind the 7/8, the blue 2, and try and come 2 cushions near the pink, maybe behind the purple. Needs a little left spin though. Little fortunate again with not the best contact. I guess it's a little dicey trying to edge this with that corner pocket there and run the cue ball. Trying to kill him behind the 8 as he banks the 2 between those. I killed him behind the brown 7. Good enough.
Yeah, in terms of his skill level, in terms of shape, potting, tactics, experience, Chua has the edge in all of those departments, and yet he's got, in this match, nothing to show for it yet. Well, he got nothing out of the cue ball, did he?
Yeah, I think it was a partial miscue, really. Kind of looked at the tip. You know, a lot of players, when they don't put the best on it, they'll look at the tip a lot of times and kind of maybe fool you. But I think that one, the sound of it sounded like a partial miscue. Great shot here. Got him nestled on the 9. Thought it was going to come up.
Plenty of racks like this. disjointed exchanges. We keep waiting for Chua to break free of the shackles and start showing his fluent best. Not happened yet. Sometimes you just got to dig in there and win ugly. And certainly in the latter half of the match, it seems to me the ball's conspiring against Chua. Or conspiring for Koyongian, depending on your perspective.
Yeah, and Chua, he made some mistakes he'd like to have back at the beginning, but I thought it was that way at the beginning of the match as well. Yeah, that was always going to be tough.
You can easily read his body language. He's frustrated with his run, frustrated with his form. And after this, he should be frustrated with the scoreboard, because Edward Koyongian has a wonderful chance to retake the lead.
Yeah, Koyongian really hasn't gotten a lot off the break either. You figure that to turn around at some point. Nearing the end of this race to 10, 7-6, you never know. Chua may not get many looks from here.
This for another Koyongian lead. And of course, that winning line is drawing ever closer. And it goes 7-6 to the Indonesian. One of two players from each country who are in the last 64. The other is out of the score after being held to 5-5 by Roberto Bartol. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz now leads 7-5. When he goes in front, he just can't seem to put the hammer down. There, a dry break.
take your eye off this one. Almost feel like he should just roll it in, maybe, if he's going to shoot. But he's going to try and screw the cue ball back. Just don't know there, you know. I think I got to cross that ball over maybe and just let Koyongian, excuse me, kind of show me from there.
Well, that attempt there was low percentage if he was buzzing and 9-1 ahead or something. To try that shot when he's 7-6 down and clearly a world away from buzzing, well, it was asking an awful lot.
And Edward, problem he's had with the cueing at times is a little let up. He needs to get through this ball to get 2 rails back and forth. Oh, he's playing it inside. Nice shot. Didn't realize thought it was a bit thinner than that.
Could this be Koyongian's first 2-rack lead since 4-2? This is getting very serious for Chua.
Young Pongers with ball in hand, up 8-7, looking to get on the hill.
Are we about to see arguably the biggest upset of the tournament so far? He's a little short on the 9-ball though, so there's no guarantees here. Nicely done. Johann Chua took on that low percentage pot down the right-hand lung rail. He missed. Koyongian did the rest. 8-6. Chua, last year's Hanoi Open champion, is in real trouble. Confident those mid-match woes of Francisco Sanchez Ruiz might be over. He's now 8-5 up on Roberto Bartol.
And the break denying young Edward again. A dry one. Awkward cueing over the blue too. A little bit of a stretch with that cueing for Chua. Pongers did get to the hill now, up 9-7 on Niels.
Yeah, 2 other players on the hill. Max Lettner 9-4 over Abdullah Alenzi, and Loho some 9-6 on Victor Zielinski. He's cutting a despondent figure, isn't he, Chua? Things just haven't gone his way at all.
Well, maybe. He may have hit the nail on the head as far as, you know, maybe not getting settled overnight. Just watch out for this going in the side. Maybe having a night where he didn't sleep well, and not trying to make excuses, of course, but he comes from a long ways away. And it's easy to have one of those nights. know as well as anyone that I think it's even more difficult in our sport when you're a little fatigued than it is in other sports that are more physical. I think once the body gets going, in the physical sports, they kind of wake up and you kind of ignore the fatigue, where pool's so mental, so touchy. I think it really can be impactful for a player. I don't know if we'll get to see it, but young Pongers trying to make a break and run to end that match and end the campaign for Niels Van here at the 2025 European Open. And I'll tell you, he got down up 5-0. I think with Niels just at the table a few times, no one likes to lose, but Pongers gets out here, it looked like it was just pure class from the youngster. Didn't really see Niels make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, just an 8-9 away. Here we have it on the split screen.
Niels Fine will be a player that Yannick Pongers has looked up to over the years. And now he's claimed his scalp by 10 racks to 7. And that sets up a potential commentator's nightmare, because if Tobias Bongers goes from 7-2 against Carlo Biardo to victory, in the next round it will be Bongers against Pongers.
Yeah, a little tricky positional shot here coming across the table. He's played it beautifully, really. Hard to imagine a mistake from here. There is some work from the 6 to the 7 to the 8, and then back down for the 9, but nothing too tricky. Just needs the center of the table here. Wants to avoid the cushion coming across. Maybe wanted a hair more out of it. Maybe a little concerned about getting flat on the black 8. Right-hander should be able to reach it no problem. Now this is all about how you hit the pocket. What I mean by that is not only speed coming back, maybe 2 cushions for the 9, but also making sure you avoid a kiss on the 9 or one of these lower corners with the cue ball. Yeah, he hit a little thick, so this cue ball's probably going to be a hair short.
What a vital ball this is. Edward, the 9th. On the hill is Koyongian. And on this table, we've not seen one
of the most charismatic players in the game. He's on the ropes. It's been an odd match. I mean, you could talk about a number of things that have gotten us to this score line, whether it be a few, fortunate misses here early for a young Edward, or just, a handful of mistakes from Chua. that he'd like to definitely have back. All right, he's gotten the one down. It's been a lot of dry breaks. He's not going to get an offensive look at the blue 2, but I think he does have a little bit of a look. Maybe some kind of safety option.
I can tell you an interesting last 32 matchup has been put in place. Koping Chung will take on Max Lettner. Lettner beating Abdullah Alenzi 10-4. Can Chua do it? Can he turn things around? Helped, of course, by the fact that it's a winner breaks format. So just get this rack and then try and fly when it matters most. Sounds easy, it isn't.
Trying to play the 2 behind the 8, using the brown and the black as cover. Well, Chua needs to come with a nice kick shot, probably 3 cushions behind the blue 2. Gets full contact here, a lot of good things can happen. May use that 7-8 as cover as well. Could pocket maybe the purple on the side. I'm surprised he's jacking up here though. Thought you'd like to use a little more of a high ball. Oh, beautiful shot. Is there a gap? I don't think so.
Wanted to find out as soon as he could. That's why he sped around the table to see the angle.
Yeah, and I think the black 8 is cut off the top cushion. That would be probably the desired kick. I think a fun match to watch. That also can be seen on the WNT.TV on table 3, I believe it is. Gary Wilson and Sufi gonna tee it off here soon. Beautiful strike there, exactly by design. A high ball to hold the cue ball, full hit on the blue 2.
Everything in the career of Edward Koyongian is going well. He's been invited to play in the Premier League pool here next week. He's slated to play in many events over the course of 2025. And what a boost it would be to claim the scalp of Johann Chua. It's been a really scrappy match though, hasn't it? Very disjointed.
Yeah, I mean, even with Edward with a 9-6 lead, you'd just walk in the door and say, man, this kid's played a good match to be in this position. And he certainly hasn't played just terribly or anything, but there's been a lot of mistakes. Just neither player, whether it be the break, never letting them really get going, or just themselves in general never really getting going. I'll tell you, with a high ball here, he could maybe kick and hit the 3 and pocket the brown 7 in the side. He's going to try and play a defensive kick and stick. And it's just been little things, Phil. Even here, he's got an open shot. He's down 9-6. He's queuing over the 8. If he happens to make this, he's got to take the long ball on the pink 4. Boy, this is a difficult shot to try and put any speed on. He's just got to try and knock it in and come with 1 on the pink.
The form book might be shredded here, not on table 9, where Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has beaten Roberto Bartol 10-6.
Yeah, and a fine tournament from Bartol, and maybe not the worst thing in the world for FSR to have a little bit of a sweater after, I believe, leading 4-0. That happened to him in that opening match that we saw, and then he went on to play beautifully after that.
He has made a plethora of mistakes, Johann Chua. Could that be the last of them?
Yeah, he definitely wanted to kick from underneath that ball, 2 cushions. No way to really get separation with the 6 and 9 there. Really, there's just this first shot. Get as tidy as you can. Kind of got into the cue ball a little bit there rather than just letting it smooth down the table. Now he's a bit more distance here. I think I avoid inside spin. Even if I happen to bump the 6, maybe not the worst thing. No, angle is actually perfect just for a straight high ball. Oh, we lost our defending champion, one of our major champions from last year, Mickey Krause, and looks like we're going to lose one of our major champions in the Hanoi Open from last year, Johann Chua.
Yes, and both in similar circumstances, both Krause and Chua have performed appreciably below their best. Two balls away from victory. A victory that would rival his win over Koyongian in the Perry Open last year as one of the best of his career. What a boost for Indonesian pool. Koyongian cracks it. Here in Sarajevo, it is a case of King Edward. He's beaten Johann Chua by 10 racks to 6. The Filipino star goes out in the last 64. Koyongian advances to the last 32 to take on, well, either Mark Bosch to Bosch or Hubert Lepotko. 8-7 to Bosch at the moment. Next up on table 1, coming up in around 5 minutes' time.